Hi, I'm Jo Martin, the founder of One of Many, and today I want to talk about something which is a little bit controversial, perhaps even a bit taboo, and that is, how do our hormones play a role in our results? Even saying it out loud is a little bit terrifying, isn't it? Now, I know I'm a doctor, so I might have a slightly different perspective on this than many people. Most of us choose just to ignore our hormones and plow on anyway, right? But I don't know if you've noticed this, but from about the age of 13 right through to the age of around 45, 50, 55, you had hormonal cycles. And I don't know whether you have caught yourself saying, oh my God, I'm so hormonal right now, or you've heard it from somebody else. Especially if you're a manager or a coach of women, you can't be working with somebody for any extended period of time and not have it come up in conversation. If it doesn't come up in conversation, then it's probably a very strict corporate environment where we will pretend that it's not happening, right? Which is not that helpful. Because what I've noticed for myself is the more that I have become au fait with my cycles and discovered what's going on inside my body, I've discovered I have superpowers. And so do you, and so do your team. So let me tell you a bit more about that. First of all, I want to start with a little bit, I'm paraphrasing, it's not a direct quote, but there was an interesting book I read once called The Female Brain by Dr. Luann Brizendine. And there was some great research in there, some of which has been disputed in recent science, but it's not, I think fundamentally at the core of it, there was a very interesting piece, which I do 100% agree with. And she observed that because our physiology, our hormones change so much through a monthly cycle, we know that impacts our physiology, right? We know it impacts our physiology with what's going on in our uterus and so forth. But it also affects our psychology. And sometimes for some women, and a great many women in our experience here at One of Many, it actually goes so far that it impacts our psychology and impacts our whole world view. Let me give you my own personal story here as an example. So I know that the more that I've leaned into my hormonal cycle and how it impacts the way that I'm approaching a day, what kind of energy I've got, I've discovered that I have great powers at sometimes, and I have really challenging days. For instance, I know that 7 days before my period is due, which although I've never had my hormones tested, I can tell you, I know what's going on in there. That is the day my progesterone is plummeting, estrogen is plummeting, testosterone is plummeting, all of my hormones are plummeting. It happens in every cycling woman, that a big plummet right before, about 7 days before period happens, which in the old days I would have called PMT, or I would have just ignored it. Now I know that no matter how even aware of it I still feel like the world is ending. In fact, in this cycle just gone, I remember saying to my husband, Greg, the world is actually ending. Now, even being aware of it, knowing that I'm on day 21 of my cycle, even being aware of it is not enough to actually impact the strength of the feelings I have at that time. No matter how hard someone tries to argue it, everything has to be thrown up and totally transformed. The team are really underperforming. I've got the best team in the whole wide world, but on day 21, I need to throw it all up in the air and give everybody new jobs. On day 21, I need to pull my child out of school and homeschool him. On day 21, clearly Greg was the wrong choice in life partner. My emotions speak so strongly, and it's the God's honest truth. Now, somewhere deep in my psyche, there's 1% of me saying, it's day 21, don't take any action today. I used to act on that all of the time. But there are other days in my cycle, for instance, where I know, 2 chocolate mousses just isn't enough. And you go for that 3rd chocolate mousse, and all you want to do is curl up under the duvet and speak to nobody. And then there are other days in my cycle, about 4 or 5 days later than chocolate mousse duvet day, or doona, as we would call it in Australia. I've been anglicised, sorry about that. The day about 3, 4 of my cycle, where I start getting superpowers. I can get so much done, I can stay late, I can work nights if I need to, I can party all night if I want to, where I've got a lot more energy. And then there's another time in my cycle, a little later on, where I've got superpowers for connection and understanding and empathy and being with people. You, my darling, have the same thing. And when we start to become aware of this, especially if we are coaches or managers of women, we can start to ebb and flow and understand that, okay, on a doona/duvet day, maybe the best thing you can do is spend half a day in the doona and watch movies. And then knowing that in 3 or 4 days, bang, it's going to come back with where you're going to be able to achieve 200% of what you could achieve back then in a way shorter period of time. So, as taboo as it is, my challenge for you is to start being aware of your cycles. And if you are managing or coaching women, start to be aware of their cycles. Not in that old sexist thing of, oh my God, she's on her period, therefore she's just hopeless. That's not what I'm talking about. When you work it through and start to bring that awareness, you can discover that it provides superpowers. It really does. And you can harness this more effectively, even by allowing 1 or 2% more of that energy at that given time. It's not about, 100% changes right now. So please do share in the comments section, what have you noticed about your hormonal cycles, how it in fact impacts not only your physiology, but your psychology. And if you are a coach or a manager of other women, what have you noticed about it in your organization or in your coaching practice? I'm interested to hear in the comments section. If this has hit a nail on the head for you, please do like the video and share it wide. And don't even get me started on menopause. That, my darling, is a topic for another day. Ooh, the superpowers of menopause. I'll talk about that in a video real soon. See you.